Okay, putting your blower motor on. Look right here, you got a little divot there, a little dimple, whatever you want to call it, little thingy sticking out. There and there. That way it helps clock your motor correctly and you get your holes lined up first round. So right there, you got the holes all lined up. So I'm going to screw that down. Then I'm going to go get the parts I need to change my plug over. But just want to point out that, see, I got the little hamster wheel on there. It goes right in, no problem. So you can change out a blower motor without taking the whole box apart. A little divot there, a little dimple there, and get them to line up. That one hits. There's that one. That way it lines up your holes for you. And be sure to remember to get your gasket here too. That's again, it goes for your firewall. And also, your heater core, pay attention to where it's positioned at, because you don't want, try to prevent as much as possible for your tubes, even though they're pretty thick, you don't want them rubbing against the edge of this metal right here. If you can prevent it, that'll eventually probably wear a hole through that. So that's probably the only downside to not having that screw there. So there you go. Okay, here's your little foam ring to come off the back to factory one. You want to be sure you put it on because it seals that air from the firewall from coming through and blowing stuff all over your feet. Okay, there's that. These screws are good and snug. And there's that one. There's where that one broke. Now these little rubber bumpers right here, you want to be sure you got them in place because they can act as spacers, but they're also keeping vibration down coming through your firewall. And there's that flapper thingy. So now I need to get my wiring harness switched over. What I'm thinking of doing, this is at 5/16 left over that would have went right there. I can kind of hand screw it in, which keeps that heater core positioned to where it doesn't hit anything over here. So I may just leave that in place like that. So when the heater core is in position, I got all the gaskets on, it prevents this tube from riding on that edge. But that's what's gonna happen. There. Now. So now, time to do my wiring harness. Okay, I took the heat shrink. Oh, I got me some butt connectors, and I pulled the insulation off the outer edge of it. Now butt connectors come with that plastic sleeve over top of them. I took that plastic sleeve off, crimped the wire down, heat shrink the wire down real well, and I noticed that, see how the wire exits out the back side here? The original motor that come out of the box, the wire exits out here, which means this wire has to go through the firewall. Not a fan of that at all. I called Advance, where I got the motor from, and they said yes, that's the right part number. And I had them tell me to, look up the part like I'm looking for a new one, I said, well, could you tell me the part number for that, please? And he said the part number. And I'll put all my part numbers on my website, www.fixjeeps.com. I'll put all the part numbers and all that kind of information there. But he said he confirmed that's the right part number, and I kind of told him what was going on. And he went through, we went through like with AC, no AC, stuff like that, and it's the right one for the Jeep. Mine is a no air conditioned Jeep. So, well, it is what it is. But here's what you do to help with that. Take your tubing. And this stuff can be a bear sometimes. Okay, now once you get your tubing on here, slide your tubing down as far as you can get it down here. To help protect that wire. So whenever you slide it into the firewall, you want to prevent as much chafing against that wire as possible. Now when you put your wire tie on here to help cramp it down, don't fold it. You want it to stay up a little bit up off the tubing. Up off this right here. We'll cut that off in a minute. And what you can probably do is also, because where it's going to be kind of thick back through here, you crush your tubing down a little bit. Don't get crazy because you want to damage your wires. You just want to crush the walls of the tubing down a little bit. Try to flatten it out some. See, it's laying a little bit flatter now. See, I'll put it right inside the jaws here. So this right here, the wires get inside here and doesn't hurt the wires, but it does kind of crush the tubing down a little bit. Now, much better. I know they ain't gonna get that. Yeah, it will. Okay, now electrical tape, because you want that thing to stay put. Did I say I don't like this? Run my tape back into the inside again. Right back here. Break it off. Then take your gasket. And it's a pretty good place for it. Yeah, that's good right there. Just got the indentation where the factory wire was. Alright, so there we go. So what's going to happen is you're not going to have to worry about the insulation back the wire here so much, simply because you got the spacing of this rubber pad and where this stands up off the firewall. That is going to help give this right here space for it to not get crimped up into the metal. Now what we're hoping for is this right here is not going to be too thick to go back up inside the hole. If it is, it's coming back off and doing it again. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this, but it's what they had. So, let's cram this rascal back up in there. Now, before we start putting this thing back in, I want to point out something to you that'll help you out a lot. Look right here. Even though this is the radio antenna, it's supposed to have a cable coming out of it, coming across and all that. Well, apparently at one point or another, mine got snatched out and my radio don't work anyway, so I guess I haven't missed it any. I need to put tunes in this thing. That's what I need to do. So anyway, that one right there will be all up in your way. So what you want to do is come around here, 1, 2, 3 screws. Take those 3 screws out. Move the antenna out of the way. That'll give you room for that post right there, not being up in your grill and hindering things. So, okay, I'm going to take those 3 screws out and antenna, and we're going to get this box put in place. Before I put this box back in, one thing I want to point out, this right here, this is that little flapper valve that controls the air going around the heater core. This is that arm that was flipping around stuff. Okay, this is where your cable hooks in across. It's very easy for this thing right here to become unhooked and you forget to put it back in place. So do it now while it's kind of easy to get to, or you forget and say, why the heck ain't it working? And then you realize why you didn't do that. So be sure to put that back in place. This right here not so much matters because it just simply moves back and forth anyway. And your other cable, the red end here, this snaps in here. This snaps in here, then this slides over top of this. Remember the one we took, I had a hard time, I had to flip the box out and take that back wall out? Well, that's that. But when you go put it back in, it's a lot easier. You just simply take this, snap it back in, slide the clip over, done. And this right here, we're going to try to get the box somewhat in place, and then try to get this one snapped in. because that's so close to this wall right here. It's going to be very hard to get to, or if even possible at all to get to. So we're going to try to snap that one in here in just a moment. And before I go to snap this in, I want to point something else out to you. You think, oh my gosh, we got all these cables hanging down. Oh, where do they go? Simple. Don't worry about it. No stressing. Look at the brackets. Notch, notch. See, they're straight in line with each other? Look at this one. Notch, notch. See right there, straight in line with each other. This one, see how they're offset? You get where I can see even. Offset here, offset here. This one, offset. This one's offset and offset. Offset, offset. And offset and offset. So see, it's not so bad. Okay, there's where I snapped that one in place. You can see it just slid over the shaft right there real well. And let's give it for a test drive. Pull it over. I got heat setting. Pull it one more, and I got boom, opens the vent. Boom, boom. See, pretty cool, pretty simple. All right, enough playing. Let's get this thing to the end. Okay, we got the blower motor sticking through the firewall, just barely there. You see down there, the drain tube's about to come through. Now look right here, right behind the valve cover. You see that nut right there, sticking, that stud sticking through? Do yourself a favor. Put your bolt on it. Even if it's only a few threads, do yourself a favor. Because you've got one started right there and you don't want to lose it. It helps a lot. Don't necessarily tighten it. We're turning a couple turns to get it on there. That way it keeps that in locked in. And see your heat core is about to come through the firewall here. And so now we can start squeezing the rest of it on through. Just a little tip to help you out. Okay, you can see it made through the firewall right there. So far not the end of the world. And you see right there, there's a broken stud. The one that broke on me earlier. Wouldn't be able to put a nut on that one right now if it were there. And the other one should be able to come through any moment now. Just a word of advice, it's a heck of a lot easier to do this if you got an extra set of hands helping push it through from the inside while you start the nuts on this side, or guiding the motor through, stuff like that. It really helps a lot, but hey, it is what it is. It's alright. I'm going to try to push this through, get those other studs started. Look at there, got the other one poking through. Get that nut on it so it don't pop back in. And this right here is about ready to come through, so actually it's one good hard push and that baby's in. Then I tighten the nuts up and she'll be bolted in. So I want to get that part done. Okay, got everything. Now you take your cables, be sure to snap them back in place. See, it went on a lot easier to come off, didn't it? Put this in place, slide this over. Ouch, cut that out of it if you ain't careful. Nope, no blood, I'm good. The edges right there are pretty sharp, but so please watch out for that. Now I've got that back there snapped in. Wiring harness tucked up out of the way. Snap this one back in. Then put this back on. Now this right here, it's like this is the cable I mentioned earlier. I want to make it for a different video because this is going to be long enough as it is. But I got issues with this cable right here, and I got to figure out, take the part up there at the slider thingy to fix that. So then you plug up your wiring harnesses. Plug up your wiring harness. Doing this with one hand. God dang it. And you got your resistors up here in the middle of nowhere. Plug that back up. There we go. That'll be about it for that. Alright, you see I haven't got my heater core hooked up yet, which is not a big deal, and I still got to actually put the wrench to these, tighten them up. But I mean, honestly, the rest of it is just downhill slide from there, so there's really no point in making this video excessively long showing you guys how to tighten up a few dozen bolts. So you know what to do from here. Alright everybody, there it is. How to put a blower motor and heater core in a little YJ Wrangler. Not that bad, really isn't. I've noticed a lot of places on the forums and that people are really scared or not knowing how to do it, and I understand that. So there you go. I may have made this a bit of a long video, but I did catch all the details I could to try to make it as easy as possible for you to do it yourself. The main thing is just watch how things come apart, pay attention to what went where, and be patient. It's not a hard job. It's kind of a tedious one, especially getting the bolts lined back up when you put the box back into the firewall. That can be a bit of a pain by yourself, but just be patient, one bolt at a time. That's all you gotta do. I'm not a fan of that blower motor I put in, but it's gonna be okay because it's not nowhere is it pinching the wires or it's gonna chafe the wires or anything. So not the end of the world by any stretch. So I don't know, people. Best video I could have made for you on doing that. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. And if you got any comments or questions or any kind of suggestions that made life easier, maybe I did something the hard way, didn't notice, put it down in the comments. Go for it. I can learn from you guys as much as you learn from my videos. Also, don't forget to subscribe. When you subscribe, each one of these videos comes out, you'll be notified that, hey, I put out a new one. And don't forget www.fixjeeps.com. That's where all these videos land up, along with a lot of other great information. So go check it out. fixjeeps.com. So everyone, appreciate you guys, everything you do for my videos. You checking them out. Everybody that subscribed to my channel, appreciate it. Huge, really do. So everyone, peace out. Later, y'all.